Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Story this evening. The government of India has appreciated the role of WhatsApp in empowering people in the country, but in the same breath, they have sent a direct and unambiguous message to the instant messaging platform. Follow the law of the land. In a meeting with the WhatsApp CEO, Chris Daniels, today, the IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad sent out a stern message directing it to set up a local entity in India and to ensure that data related to its users is stored on Indian servers. And not just that, Prasad also made it clear that WhatsApp must comply with RBI's norms and store financial data in India itself to start its digital payments facility. The minister has also asked Daniels to come up with a technological solution to tackle the menace of fake news as well.
I suggested basically 3 points. Number one, you must have a grievance officer in India and a whole system of that to which people can reach immediately. He should be located in India. Second, you must have a proper compliance of Indian laws. We will not appreciate a scenario where any problem arisen will have to be answered in America only. No, not acceptable. And thirdly, WhatsApp, having become an important component of India's digital story, must have a proper corporate entity located in India. We also asked him to have a detailed mechanism to trace the origin of any sinister message. He said we'll try to work out a technological solution for that. And the second thing which I flagged in particular, which I had said earlier also, it does not need a rocket science to locate a message being circulated in hundreds and thousands and lakhs on the same day, on the same issue, in the same state, in the same district. You must have a mechanism to find a solution.
So the government standing firm on its demands and reiterating that WhatsApp needs to follow the law of the land and that the law will apply uniformly to all players in the space. Let's move forward now. The government was reiterating WhatsApp needs to comply with Indian laws and talking about compliance. In fact, sanitary napkin makers Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson may have run afoul of the Anti-Profiteering Authority for allegedly not passing on the GST rate cut benefits to consumers. Now, the NAA had earlier written to these companies seeking a clarification on why the benefits of lower GST rates had not been passed on to consumers. Now, remember, earlier this year, the GST Council had announced that sanitary pads would be exempt from the 12% GST rate. Government officials tell us that both these companies have submitted their response. The NAA, however, is unhappy with their explanations. Timsy Jaipuria, in fact, is joining us with more details. Timsy, clearly, the NAA is not impressed with the answers that it got. What else are you picking up?
It seems like a tough road ahead for sanitary napkin manufacturers, especially the majors like P&G and Johnson & Johnson. Taking forward the issue whether sanitary napkin manufacturers are passing on the benefit of reduced GST rates or not, government officials told CNBC TV18 that the National Anti-Profiteering Authority, that is the NAA, is unhappy with the initial response by both P&G and J&J, the two major manufacturers. Recently, P&G and J&J were called by the NAA post-Finance Ministry had raised concerns over the two not reducing prices on sanitary napkins to the tune of the reduction in taxes. Remember, it was on July 21 when GST Council had exempted sanitary napkins from any taxes, bringing down the levies from 12% to 0%. We now learn that the NAA has directed DG Anti-Profiteering to look deep in the allegations of profiteering against the two companies. P&G and J&J have already submitted detailed representation to the Revenue Department and NAA. The two in their representations have cited that a flat 12% reduction on all products is not possible, and NAA officials talking to CNBC TV18 said that P&G and J&J have met them. They say that since there is a wide product range under the sanitary napkin category with separate input costs, the reduction passed on to the consumers ranges accordingly. However, as of now, the DGAP has been asked to submit a detailed report on the priority basis on this particular issue to the Finance Ministry to see whether the allegations of profiteering have any substance or not. We'll keep you posted.
Right, so some tough questions await Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson. Thanks, Timsy, for that update. But staying with action from the taxation space, India's tax net is getting wider. The government issued more than 2 crore permanent account numbers between December 2017 and March of 2018. Now, according to data from the Central Bureau of Direct Taxes, 1.9 crore individuals were allotted PAN account numbers during this period. Moreover, 87,000 firms were also allotted PANs. However, this is not the first time that India has seen such a surge in PAN allotment. Over 2 crore permanent account numbers were also issued during the period of demonetization. Now, tax experts believe that since more numbers of transactions require PAN details to be submitted now, it could have led to a surge in PAN allotment. Experts also believe that the advent of the goods and services tax regime could be another key reason behind the surge in PAN allotment. In action now from the IBC, the resolution space, CNBC TV18 learns that the Reserve Bank of India has rejected the ICICI Bank-led consortium's plea to allow a special dispensation for Jaiprakash Associates. Remember, the ICICI Bank-led consortium had requested the central bank to allow an out-of-court settlement for the company, as they believe that the company could soon turn over a new leaf. Ritu Singh, in fact, who has been tracking that story, is joining us. Ritu, the RBI categorically stating that no exceptions shall be made as far as the companies are concerned on the IBC list. So the road, it seems, is quite clear for JP. The NCLT road is what it will have to take. What else are you picking up?
It is a setback of sorts for Jaiprakash Associates as well as its lenders, because we understand from sources that the Reserve Bank of India has rejected the plea made by ICICI Bank on behalf of a consortium of lenders to JP Associates and not allowed any special dispensation which will be allowed to JP Associates. Remember, earlier when the Supreme Court had allowed RBI to direct banks to take JPA into NCLT, ICICI Bank had made its case in RBI saying an out-of-court settlement, which was a debt restructuring plan for the company, was already in place and was approved by a majority of lenders, and therefore it could be prevented from going into NCLT and then restarting the resolution process all over again. But the Reserve Bank of India, in no uncertain terms, has made its stance very clear to the bankers that there will be no exceptions made for any of the accounts that feature on RBI's defaulters list. So it looks like ICICI Bank will have to soon start the process of filing for insolvency as far as Jaiprakash Associates is concerned and send it to the NCLT.
Right, Ritu, thanks a lot for that. Let's shift our focus now onto the floods from Kerala. Now, Kerala is trying to bounce back from the aftermath of what was its worst flood in the last 100 years. Now, the state government has asked for a 2,600 crore rupee package from the centre. And as the focus shifts from rescue to rehabilitation, the health department in the state is anticipating the worst ever epidemic threat in flood-affected areas. The World Health Organization has sent a 13-member team to Kerala to oversee efforts to counter any epidemic outbreak. The State Health Department, meanwhile, has decided to set up medical camps in all flood-hit areas. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates has contributed 700 crore rupees to the state's relief fund. But unfortunately, there are still some parts of the state where the water is yet to recede. My colleague Neetu Reghukumar sent us this report from North Paravur in Ernakulam.
We are at a place called Chala in North Paravur. From here, we are headed to a place known as Kutiyathoda. This area has been completely isolated. You can see the extent of water here. We are not able to travel in our vehicle. We had to hop onto a truck to travel to this place. What we are learning is that there are many people who are still there who needs help in this area. Parts of a church had collapsed, church building had collapsed, and about 6 people died in that area is what we are understanding. You can see the extent of water here. The water levels has not yet started receding in these places. You can see that families are trying to cross this road by walking, taking whatever things that they could in just a packet or in just a cover. That's the extent that we are seeing here on the road.
Well, dramatic visuals there from Ernakulam. And even as this crisis situation unfolds, it has thrown up a series of instances of heroism and displays of courage. In fact, as Kerala battles to overcome the devastation caused by the floods, inspiring stories of individuals helping in relief and rescue operations have come to light. Here's a look at some of those instances.
Even as Kerala struggles to stay afloat, humanity stands tall in the rain-ravaged state. In Mallappuram's Vingara, fisherman Jessel KP offered his back to the stranded to use as a stepping stone while climbing onto rescue boats. Fishermen like Jessel have been the backbone of rescue operations, transporting their boats over long distances with their own money just to rescue lakhs of people stranded across the state.
Fishermen who have emerged as the real heroes, fishermen who are taking out boats from wherever they are to these places which are flooded, loading them onto vehicles going by road and then putting it across through these flooded areas.
In Kerala's darkest moments, there have been several beacons of light. Like 8-year-old Anupriya from Tamil Nadu's Villupuram district, who had been saving up for 4 years to buy a bicycle. But on seeing the tragedy unfold in Kerala, she decided to donate her piggy bank savings and do her bit. Or Hanan Hamid, the college student from Kerala, who was trolled for selling fish in her uniform. She handed over 1.5 lakhs for flood relief work. And then there are the heroes in uniform who've gone above and beyond the call of duty. A daring aerial rescue of a paralyzed pregnant woman. Airlifting a heavily pregnant woman minutes before she was going into labor. Coming to the rescue of young children and saving the elderly and the infirm. Not all superheroes wear capes. And the humanity shown by these heroes of Kerala are helping the state get back on its feet.
Well, a very good evening once again and welcome back. Now, the Serious Fraud Investigation Office estimates that the alleged siphoning off of funds at Bhushan Steel could jump to as much as 7,000 crore rupees. Now, earlier, the Fraud Office had estimated the fraud amount to be around 2,000 crore rupees. The company's promoter, Neeraj Singhal, was arrested earlier this month. In fact, Utkarsh Chaturvedi now joins us with more details. Utkarsh, what is this new evidence that the Fraud Office seems to have unearthed?
2 to 3 major pointers coming out from the investigation by SFIO in the Bhushan Steel case. Now, what our sources indicate us is the amount of fraud, the amount which the ex-promoters are accused of siphoning off, which currently stands at 2,000 crore rupees, can go up to 7,000 to 8,000 crore rupees, which the initial investigation has revealed. Now, where all has the money gone in? Now, our sources indicate that the promoters used to reinvest money from the bank loan to the company. So the money which was siphoned off came back to the company in the form of a promoter stake. Now, around 100 shell companies, trust and investment instruments were used to siphon off money and get them back in the company. What our sources also indicate us is that promoters have divulged the money in buying properties, expensive cars, from the bank loans which were given to run the company. Now, these are initial investigations by SFIO. SFIO at this point of time is looking for more documents, more detail on the money trail, and will look to seize and attach the assets where the money has been divulged into.
Right. Thanks, Utkarsh, for that. Now, the government is hard-selling India's power and energy sector at its divestment roadshow in America. Now, CNBC TV18 learns that the government is keen to have long-term investors come on board as it would reduce their dependence on the life insurance corporations, or LIC. Sapna Das is joining us with more details. Sapna, what else are you picking up?
Well, senior officials from the Department of Disinvestment are on a US roadshow, and we are given to understand that India's power and energy sector are being kind of showcased. These companies are being kind of showcased. We are also given to understand the intent here is to speak to a larger set of investors like private equity and hedge funds, because the approach that the government wants to adopt is to try and attract as many long-term global players, long-term global investors as possible in India's disinvestment program. They would like these long-term investors to remain invested in our CPSEs even after an OFS is over. That's the overall intent. Thereby, the government is also thinking that the dependence on LIC as far as the OFS subscriptions are concerned, that can also get reduced to that extent. Now, which are those energy companies? Obviously, ONGC is one of them, OIL is there, IOC is there, probably even Coal India is there. So the intent of the government is basically to divest at least 5% in these energy CPSEs. That's a tall order as of now. But the entire approach here is to try and pull in long-term investors so the government gets enough confidence to go ahead and divest bigger chunks in the CPSEs. We are close to August getting completed, so the next 6 months are going to be crucial as far as the disinvestment program is concerned for FY19.
Right, Sapna, thanks a lot for that. So DPAM batting there aggressively for Indian power companies in the US. But shifting focus now to a national story, Congress Minister in Punjab, Navjot Singh Sidhu, finds himself in the eye of the storm after visiting Pakistan to attend Imran Khan's oath-taking ceremony and sharing a hug with Pakistan's army chief. Now, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has jumped to the defense of Navjot Singh Sidhu. He tweeted, and I quote here, "I want to thank Sidhu for coming to Pakistan for my oath-taking ceremony. He was an ambassador of peace and was given amazing love and affection by the people of Pakistan. Those in India who targeted him are doing a disservice to the peace in the subcontinent. Without peace, our people cannot progress." Meanwhile, Navjot Singh Sidhu too clarified his position today, saying that his visit did not have any political intentions and he left from India only after getting an approval from the External Affairs Minister, Sushma Swaraj.
ये यात्रा किसी भी प्रकार से राजनीतिक नहीं थी, अपितु एक मित्र का स्नेह भरा निमंत्रण था। मेरे को तो 10 बार निमंत्रण आया था, फिर मैंने इंडियन गवर्नमेंट से परमिशन ली, इंडियन गवर्नमेंट की परमिशन नहीं आई, मैं रुका रहा। मैंने आपको बताया, फिर पाकिस्तान से परमिशन मांगी, उन्होंने वीज़ा दे दिया। उनके वीज़ा देने के 2 दिन बाद सुषमा स्वराज जी ने खुद रात को फ़ोन करके मुझे कहा कि तेरी परमिशन हो गई है।
So in the eye of the storm there, Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu. On to the Asian Games, where day 3 saw India's shooters bag 3 medals. 16-year-old Surbhi Chaudhary set a new junior world record at the Asian Games, winning a gold medal, with Abhishek Verma bagging a bronze in the same category. Indian shooter Sanjeev Rajput also added to the India's medal tally in the 50-meter rifle 3 positions category, as he finished with a silver. Now, India's hockey team continues to be on a roll as well, with the women's contingent beating Kazakhstan 21-0. So a strong outing there in the Asian Games by India. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of What's Hot. Thank you so much for watching. But stay tuned. The markets recovered post-noon to end with moderate gains. The Nifty is now just 30 points shy of the 11,600 mark. Markets today will take all the action forward. And in half an hour, we'll also be back with India Business Hour. Keep watching.